In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. Of course, I'm the gatekeeper of this particular program, known here on Daily Motion, YouTube, Vimeo, and make sure that you friend me on Facebook. I am known here and around the internet as the mighty Angel Snub Number 7. I am y'all's brother, and hopefully y'all friend, Talik Ibn Ra. I would like just to take a few moments, and as always, thank you for sharing your precious time with me. It is always an honor to come before my people or friends to speak with us on different topics. This particular subject that we've chosen for this brief moment is atheism. realism and being an agnostic. Is there a word agnosticism? Something to that effect. There's so many isms to everything else. It should be agnosticism. I guess that's how you would pronounce it. Being or claiming to be an agnostic. I would first like to speak about simple, what we call atheism. Atheism simply is a non-belief in God. Actually, it's a description made to make mockery and ostracize persons who don't believe in God from those who are believers in God. It is an attempt to make you feel stupid for not believing in God. To believe in God is something that has to be taught. If somebody did not teach me about Jesus or Muhammad or any of these gods, you would just live your life. Just like a deer lives its life, a whale lives its life, a tree lives their life. But among the human species, through the ages, coming out of fear, ignorance, this what we call religion came into being, and it was forced upon the masses of the people. So now we think that it is natural for us to believe in something. But it's not. This is a taught behavior. In fact, it was forced upon other people by those who held influence and power. But an atheist is simply one who rejects all these religious teachings, the belief in God. And sometimes an atheist, because they disbelieve in God, then they feel as though they can do anything they want to. So it is all right to fornicate. It's all right to get drunk out of my mind. It's all right to murder and kill because I don't have any type of law in order to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have to be responsible for anything. And some atheists believe in theories. They might not believe in God, but they believe in theories like the Big Bang Theory, and they embrace the sciences. That is a simple definition or description of the average atheist. Now, when it comes to myself, some may believe that I am an atheist because I don't believe in God. But I am just a simple person who rejects that description because I know that atheism comes from out of religious belief teachings. I'm a person that simply accepts and embraces my reality. However, if you can show clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence to support that God actually exists, I'm willing to accept that, because if you have the evidence and the facts, you bring it into reality, then since I am a seeker of reality, then I have no choice but to accept God as a reality. And if God is a reality, there's no need to believe. However, again, just because God is real does not mean I will serve God, does not mean I will pray to God, does not mean I will be God's servant, because there is no life form, whether you call yourself God or man, or whatever you want to call yourself, there is no other life worthy of my life being a servant to it. It is better that I go back into non-existence than be somebody's slave. I am against slavery to people. I am against slavery to some God. I don't mind assisting you, God. I will respect you, God, for who you are. but I will not be your slave. I will not be your servant. That I cannot do. And when we have that type of attitude, sometimes people view us as arrogant. And it is not arrogance, it's just that we've accepted the reality of our life. Just like a deer is a deer, an elephant is an elephant, a tree is a tree, a cloud is a cloud. I accept this situation of which I was born into. I'm not looking for a way out unless it is death, suicide. I accept life just the way that it is. And people have a problem with accepting just simple reality. They want to live in some type of delusional land. And that's what religion does for us. Gives us a Disneyland for our mind. When we are children, we are taught about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all this other nonsense. And when we become adults, they give us Jesus and Muhammad and all this other fictional stuff. And we even call ourselves children of God. After 4,000, 5,000 years, the children of God have yet to grow up to be adults, because a child cannot remain a child. A child must become an adult sooner or later. But if you are a child of God, then you must grow into God, but you will always remain a child of God, because you can't grow up to be God, because God don't exist. You can't grow up to be something that you're not. You can't grow up to be something that don't exist. I know you don't like it, but that's how it is when you don't accept your reality. So they use religion just like a crackhead use crack. Just like an alcoholic use liquor, gin, and vodka. How some of y'all use sex. You obsess and you overdo things because you want to leave this reality, because the reality of life is not pretty. It's not pretty for the tree. It's not pretty for the eagle. It's not pretty for no life form. But they can't get drunk. They can't use no religion. They have to accept life just how it is. But as a human being with a brain, you can use your imagination to take you into worlds no man has gone before. And to bring this little talk to conclusion, I want to simply talk about, or quickly talk about, the agnostic. The agnostic, in all these ideas, the agnostic is the ideological coward. Agnostics are cowards because deep in their heart, an agnostic person knows that God does not exist. But just in case, because they still are filled with religious teachings. Most of us are filled with religious teachings ever since we were born. They began to feed our minds religious teachings. But just in case, I don't want nobody to get mad at me, especially God. I can't prove that God don't exist or disprove or whatever. So they try to play both sides. An agnostic is a coward. I would tell you that God don't exist, and I will suffer the consequences if I am in error of which I doubt. An agnostic have a fear that the religious people might be right. So they want to sit on the fence. So if something happens, just in case the believers in God are right, well, see, I really did believe. I didn't really say I disbelieve. That's cowardly. Stick to what you really believe in. You don't believe in God. Just say it. Accept your reality. And if God is just, if God is fair, God understands why you had to take that position. If God is real, it's not up to me to prove that God is real. It's up to the person who making that claim. I don't have to prove that God is real. It's quite obvious there is no God. Those who say that God is real, then show me clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence that God exists. Do you have a fax number for God? Do you have God on video? When was the last time you and God had personal contact? I feel God. How do you know you feel? How you going to feel something that you never met? You have no personal contact. You repeating stuff that somebody taught you. And God has not taught nobody anything. Even according to the religious teaching itself. God sends Moses. God sends Jesus. God sends Muhammad. What is God doing that God is so busy he or she can't come down and talk to me? If God wants my attention, I don't need to hear about God from Susie or Johnny. Come and talk to me personally, God. God wants us to have some kind of connection to people that lived thousands of years ago. Come yourself and talk to us and stop this confusion, because everybody has different gods. It makes no sense. And Judge Judy said, if it does not make sense, chances are it's not true. And I will go with Judge Judy on that one. So it's up to you where you want to stand. But as long as you believe in God and you have free thinkers in the world, you're not going to be able to sell us that Disneyland stuff that they've been handing down from generation to generation for thousands of years. If you like it, that's good. But don't try to force that on self-thinking minds. It's not going to work. Jot down your comments. I do speak in behalf and in defense of black men when we are making a true attempt to be men. And if you are a man, if you are a true male, then it would seem as though you have so much heart. Why do you need somebody to be standing up for you, defending you against words, against verbalization, against propaganda? That is nothing when you have those who are out to take your life. Men don't need that type of protection, because y'all claim to be real men, right? Excuse me 1 second. Okay. Now, you claim to be real men, right? So why do you need all this protection? You want somebody to hold your hand. You want somebody so that you can cry on their shoulder. You want somebody to take your hand and help you across the street. That bothers me. Because in my eyes, men can stand on their own. I don't need any help. I don't care what black women say. I don't care what these racist pinks say. I don't care what none of these suckers say. I can stand on mine. But a woman, she's supposed to be weaker. She's not supposed to be as smart. It is expected of the male to defend, protect, uplift his female. Whether she helps you or not makes no difference. Whatever is going on in her mind, that does not negate what we as men have to do. In fact, if men do what real men are supposed to do, that will influence and encourage and inspire her to say, look, I might have been wrong. look at these men, look what they're doing. But when you offer her nothing but your penis, and then from your penis you give her babies, and you offer her no schools, you can't employ her, you can't educate her children, you have no factories so that you can make toilet paper so both of us can wipe our behinds. You have nothing to offer. So for your failure, for your own low self-esteem, you decide to attack the woman that tells you about yourself. So if she's telling us something that is true, why are you getting upset? Put your hands to work. Put your penis back in your pants and go to work and build something. And shut the hell up. That's why I don't defend black men. That's why I don't say too much about black men, because your ass don't want to do nothing. But you so strong. You a lion. You a elephant. You a rat. You a mouse. And that's giving you too much credit. Because everything that you get in life comes from the racist pink man. So that makes you you're on another man's phallus. And I get upset with so-called males when you are crying and whining like that. But a woman is different because y'all said she's weaker. She's emotional. Who's more emotional than these black men on YouTube? Countless channels crying about what women do, what women don't do. How pathetic and trifling. I can't stand for that. But if I see men doing what we're supposed to do or expected to do, and you have crazy, illiterate, ignorant women attacking men that's using their hands instead of their penis, yes, I will defend them. Because they are doing, like Spike Lee said, they're doing the right thing. They are earning praise. They are earning respect. While you just want to talk and ain't earned nothing. You don't have a pot to piss in. But you want the same respect as a man building a building, creating a nation, building factories, getting farmland, building an edifice whereas you can put a woman so she can be proud of her men instead of being in fear and being exploited by her men. And that's what the black woman faced. She has to deal with the black man as an enemy, and she has to deal with the racist Caucasian people and others in this society as enemies. She has nowhere to run. The only place she should be able to run is into the arms, the loving arms of her men, and you take your hand and punch her in the face and you beat on her. That's one of the reasons why I don't say too much about in defense of black men, because we're perfectly capable of doing it ourselves when we come together. We don't need no help like that. I do it great by myself. So as men, if we were together and unified, what women say, what Mexicans say, what the Chinese say, whatever anybody has to say about us don't mean nothing. Because we put our fists together. We learn how to use our hands to build, and we'll put our fists together and our finger around the trigger to defend what we build. That's just the bottom line. Be a real lion. Be a real elephant. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Instead of getting angry because racist Caucasian people and certain black women who are speaking ignorance are reminding you of your failure. So you want to be a child and call them out on their failure, on their ill behaviors. So you have two children on the playground, accomplishing what? Ain't getting nothing done. Your community is steady going downhill, and your children are watching these behaviors, and they are mimicking this foolishness. I stand for black women, for black women. I stand for women in general because I was raised around mostly women. My mother and sisters and aunts. I didn't have a lot of male figures around me. The only male figure that I had was taken away from me early in life, and the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's the manhood was my role model. A man in a book, and a man that was taken away from me in less than a year, probably 6 months. That's all I had as a representative of manhood. And growing up around women, and since I did not turn out to be a whore, and women knew I was not a whore, women would allow me to listen to their conversations. So I understand the workings of our sisters' minds, the hurt and the pain and all the things that comes from out of the woman's soul. So I understand her. And if she wants to let off a little steam because her men have failed her, I'm not protected. Here I am, I'm gold. You don't see no value in her. She's gold, but you treat our women like trash. Because we learned that from our racist slave master. And from these anti-woman religions, we view her as some type of inferior, some type of product, some type of tool. Is the woman a human being? That's my subject that I've chosen. I have about 45 minutes. Let us on this Vizzy get busy. What brings me also to this particular subject is that I recently found out that one of my close associates, who no longer want to associate with me for reasons I won't say on this video, but I just found out that within the last 6 years, my sister has been in an abusive relationship. She was choked. She was slapped, verbally abused. We understand, and we've seen this picture many, many times before. And many of you males are correct. It is because she did not make proper choice. She went on emotion, physical appearance, and these other factors. She could have chose me. But I'm an atheist. You don't like that. I'm an older person. You don't like that. Willing to work for you, your children or whatever, but you don't want that because I am an intimidating figure and you can't control. But what kind of control did you get when this person who you viewed as handsome, he had swag, and I want to also say this guy she was messing with, he was no thug. He worked in the Department of Corrections, law-abiding citizen, but when he got home, he kicked this woman in the backside. Matter of fact, I believe they just got married. She married a man that was abusing her. She continues to do foolish things, but we do foolish things when we believe we are in love, or we get trapped because we get in a relationship with a
Peace forever and always. This is your brother, and hopefully your friend, Talik Ibn Ra, and welcome once again to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. I had no intention to make any more videos this soon. I was going to more so concentrate on forming ideas for the Blog Talk radio show that is coming very soon, and perhaps even this weekend. I'll be just putting myself out there little by little. I'm not a radio talk show host, so that's what's been the setback. But also at the same time, many of you who watch my videos know that as soon as possible, I will make a video expressing a certain opinion or thought, because why put off tomorrow what you can do today? Tomorrow is not promised, so I want to be able to express my opinion just in case, because you don't know. I won't, for some reason, could not do so, but I wanted to. This video, I need your help, because I don't know too much of the history, and I'll tell you the truth. I haven't really researched it a lot, so we're going to research it together. What is the history of homosexuality in slavery? From all the writings, everything that I've ever researched or read, I've never heard of the slave behaving in a homosexual manner. Why is that? But as time goes on, and as the slave integrates into the society of his master or former master, then the slave begins to take on these characteristics. Or is that a coincidence? Could somebody please direct me to African history where there was homosexuality in any tribe on the continent of Africa, among the dark peoples? Would somebody please bring me information about homosexuality in Asian culture or Indian culture? To my knowledge, homosexuality originates in Greek culture, whereas rich Greek men took on young boys as friends. Thus you get the term boyfriend. Boyfriend didn't come from a woman choosing a man. It came from a man choosing a boy as a friend. And then he took a young child, and they exploited these children for sexual gratification. These freaks. And these young boys growing up thinking this type of behavior, just like in today's society when children are abused and neglected, they believe that type of activity, that type of behavior is natural. But it's not. It comes from an unnatural act being placed upon a young mind, a young child. Where is the homosexual virgin? If you are born, so you say, without a choice, homosexual, first of all, many of y'all change your mind, then you go decide to become heterosexual. If you was born homosexual, you can't just change like that. It's just like me wanting to be a Caucasian. I can straighten out my nose, I can bleach my skin, I can do all these things to make myself appear as Caucasian-like, But when it's all said and done, I'm a black man. If you was born homosexual, how can you just change over like you changing a tire on your car? Then, where are the homosexual virgins? People who say, well, I'm a homosexual, that's my orientation, but I'm a virgin, I'm waiting on this special other person that I want to marry or get with. You don't hear that. These people experiment with their sexuality, then this is when this comes out. If you was born like that, you don't have to experiment. You don't have to mess around. That's just you, and that's something that you just feel. You don't have to play games like that. Where are the bisexuals in African history? The black men, the black women that go both ways. Where is this? These things did not occur until we were influenced by the European. It is an unnatural behavior that comes from being exploited and abuse. That's where it comes from. One being dominant over another. That Greek rich guy exploited, being dominant over those young boys. And of course, many young females have been affected also. In fact, many racist Caucasians will quickly tell you, y'all black folks, y'all murder. Y'all do this, y'all do that. But they never make reference or take into consideration where we learn this from. We call ourselves African Americans, but ain't none of these been into no damn Africa. Everything we know, everything we experience, everything we seen came from the racist Caucasian people in America. So if the black people in America are drug addicts, guess who gave it to us? Guess who taught how to use it? Your parents did. Your forefathers taught us how to do it. They taught us how to make liquor and how to get drunk. Because, first of all, liquor and drugs help control the man or the woman from thinking thoughts of revolution, thinking the thoughts from keeping their mind off the fact that they are being oppressed. Liquor and drugs was also given to the Native American peoples. And you also, poor white man, middle class white man, and some of y'all rich folks, drugs and liquor is given to you also to pacify you. So those who are in power can do what they want to do, and you won't say nothing because you are pacified in your drunkenness or in your high. Woo! So don't just think that black people are victims. Y'all victims too. Because it's the middle class and the poor who are really holding up the economy, not the rich. The rich are the ones to be served and benefit from what the poor and the middle class do. So we are a destroyed people. We're nothing like our ancestors. We're drunkards. We're prostitutes. We're whores. We're whoremongers. Dope fiends. Pimps. Thugs. We're everything. We cover everything that the racist Caucasians gave us that's detrimental, but we don't take on the other things that they have also shown us, is how to be independent, how to fight against your oppressor, stand up against your oppressor, and love yourself. But we don't mind being a homosexual. I have nothing against the homosexual community. or nobody's, that's your business. I don't represent any morality. The way I feel, fornication and adultery is just as bad. In fact, it's worse than homosexuality, because fornication and adultery produces children that end up getting neglected and abused. Direct me to the homosexual African. This is your brother Talik Ibn Ra. Just wanted to put that out there. Jot down your comments. Send in your video responses. This was and is the Realities Temple on Earth. Till next time. Peace. Peace forever and always. This is your brother Talik Ibn Ra, and welcome once again to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. I am the Angel Snup Nup 7, your brother and hopefully your friend Talik Ibn Ra. It's sad that you begin the new year with anger, but I will attempt to describe that which makes me angry this day. For some reason, the thought process began this way. I remember when I was a child, I had a pet dog. Her name was Angel. And as many of you know, that is the name that this channel was given. Like many of you, I enjoyed the company of my pet and the friendship, the comfort that my pet brought me. Unlike many animals, my dog was able to run free. We lived next to a wooded area. We lived in a rural type area, so my dog was allowed to roam out in the forest, roam out into the wheat fields and the corn fields and anywhere that she wanted to go. But in her wanderings came a price, because when she left our yard, she came back to me with serious cases of ticks and fleas. And I watched my dog trying to get rid of those ticks and fleas. But as you know, animals are not made in a way or formed in a manner where they can get their fleas and ticks off their skin. Now, if you was a chimpanzee or an animal that had a thumb like human beings do, they are capable of taking those ticks and fleas off themselves. Why are you using this as an example? It is because, black man, it is because, black woman, we are like Angel. But instead of roaming free, we were forced into a yard, and now we have become covered with ticks and fleas. The first major tick, the first major parasite to get on our backs was the racist European Caucasian. And he fleeced us for 300 years, gaining from us great wealth from free slave labor, and then for over 100 years, underpaid labor. That's the number one first flea. And as time goes on, we become, instead of getting rid of the fleas, we become more infested with these parasites. Let me tell us, and let's talk about our ticks and fleas that's on the backs of the black man and woman in America, on the backs of those who call themselves African Americans. You have the so-called Jewish flea. They come in our neighborhood and rent us these abandoned buildings and charging us high prices and opening up different stores, selling us pork and other cheap goods. And in most recent times, our neighborhoods are bombarded by Asian people, and now the Arabs and the Mexican people who come into our neighborhoods on our backs, becoming parasites economically, sucking our blood like the racist Caucasian does. And he has not, because we pay him taxes and we get nothing in return for our paying taxes. We defend this nation and we get nothing in return. We are infested like Angel the dog with ticks and fleas. And what is even so horrible, listen, we have black people who think they are better than other African Americans. They do the same thing. They come into our neighborhoods and establish business, and they suck us and leave. Blood suckers. Because they are too good to live among African Americans. They are too good to live among black people, but they are black themselves, but because of self-hatred, instead of helping pick the fleas and the parasites off of us and showing us and using their money to make us independent and get rid of these bloodsuckers, let me tell you something. That's what a parasite does. We have allowed ourselves to become infested with these ticks and these fleas because we refuse to open our own businesses. We refuse to support our own businesses. But I want to talk to y'all that have these so-called black businesses, these African American oriented type businesses. Black people are loyal consumers, just like we're loyal to God, we're loyal to religion, we're loyal to politics. We are some loyal people. That's one of our main problems that we got. We hold on to something when we become loyal to it. It doesn't matter if it deserves our faith. It doesn't matter if it deserves our loyalty. We love something and we grab on to it, no matter if it benefits us or it's detrimental. But we have black people that have black businesses in our communities that also are ticks and leeches and parasites. They come into our neighborhoods and take, but they don't give. And then they talk to us. The Mexican person in business, the Jewish person in business, they talk to us like we're trash and like we're garbage. I'm saying in 2010, y'all need to stop and get these fleas off of you. Then you have these preachers. I'm not going to forget you, preacher. These churches, y'all ministers and teachers of religion, you take from the black community millions and millions of dollars, and you don't give us nothing except and God and the power of the Lord. At one time, the black church was an important vessel in the liberation of black people, the African American in this society. But in recent times, religion, The pastors and these ministers have become just like our enemies, the ones who brought us into this condition to begin with. You become a parasite. You become a leech. You become a tick. You become a flea. And I'm saying today in 2010, black man and woman of America, your New Year's resolution should not be losing weight, which some of y'all should, for health purposes. Stop drinking and smoking. All those things are beautiful. But I want us to say, for our New Year's resolution, we need to get these ticks off our back once and for all. If we choose not to do so, then be content in being in the condition you're in. Stop complaining to people. Change the law and do this and do that. Just be content, because you don't need no lawmaker. You don't need no senator. You don't need no judge. You can get these ticks off your back yourself. If y'all come together, but you don't want to, because the other brother might get a little something more than you. We so full of jealousy and self-hatred, it's pathetic. All the while, all of you, and me included, we're being sucked of our blood. Look at what we've done for other communities, others sucking our life force. What do you think we could do when we can take these monies and use it for ourselves? This is your brother Talik Ibn Raj. Jot down your comments, because I know many of you feel the same. This was and is, get these ticks off your back. The Realities Temple on Earth. In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always. Welcome once again to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. I am your brother, your host, and hopefully your friend, the Angel Snupnup 7, Brother Talik Ibn Raj. Excuse me, I'm a little bit fatigued. My throat is a little scratchy, but we're going to try to get through this, okay? I want to talk to those Caucasian people who are delusional and paranoid with this thing called black racism. You are delusional and you are paranoid, because if there was such thing as black racism, the United States government would have reports on it. The Ku Klux Klan will be talking about it. But nobody in authority, no government, nowhere, except here on little itty bitty YouTube, is somebody screaming and complaining about black racism, because it don't exist. Black racism is paranoia by Caucasian people who fear when black people complain that if black people ever come into power, they would do to them what their ancestors done to our ancestors. It is nothing but a mental illness. And perhaps those who scream black racism, maybe a black man beat them up at the bus stop the other day, or maybe a black man stole their white girlfriend away from them, or maybe they believe some black man stole a job from them, or whatever. It is paranoia. There is no such thing as black racism. Y'all really need to stop being so childish. But then that happens to us when we become mentally ill. When you are mentally ill, you're mentally ill not because of your thought, because what you're saying could be true. But the thing about mental illness is that chances are it is not. There's truth in it, understands that there are many black people here on YouTube and in society that's thinking about doing something like that, but that's not a reality. So until it becomes a reality, until there's evidence to show that it's a reality, it is a delusion. It is paranoia. And at this time, if you look at the condition of black people, we are not interested in enslaving or harming white people simply based on skin color. We wish to defend ourselves, and we want justice from being oppressed by white people. And we talk about white folks because those are the people that have done the deadly deed to us. Now let me say this to us, to you. If I hated white people, if I did not really like white people, or whatever you want to say, if I was a black bigot, I would tell y'all right. I'm not scared of you. Why should I be silent? Why should I run? I'm not going to kiss your ass. I don't love you like that. I'm not going to say I love you. But I'm not going to say I hate you either. Because if I did, I'd tell you in your damn face. You don't scare me. None of you. There ain't a damn thing that you can do to me. Except kill me. That's it. And I'm not afraid of that, so there's nothing you can do. But I want to say this to us. Rather, y'all Caucasians that just don't get it. See, those who subscribe, those white people, Caucasian persons that subscribe to Angel Snuffing Up 7, they get it because they understand history. They understand the psychological effect of trauma on people, on individuals. You get over it. See, that shows that you lack sympathy about another person's pain. If I slapped you, then I tell you to get over it. Man, I slapped you yesterday. But what if you don't get over it? You still trip out the fact, why did he hit me? Man, that still hurt. The physical pain might be gone, but the mental trauma, because you're wondering, why did I deserve that? There's questions going on. Anytime you are a victim of a crime, there's trauma. Black people, we as the people in this nation have been traumatized for 300 years. And that trauma has been passed on from generation to generation. We are nothing but walking white people with dark skin. That's what you don't understand. We're trying to come up out of you.